Quick mention here about Speedgrade. This is again one of the big changes that we have between the Creative Cloud version and CS6. Speedgrade was in CS6. It's Adobe's grading program. Now, like I said, they have actually introduced a Lumetri color panel, which is taking a large chunk of Speedgrade's grading and putting it into Premiere, but there's still more stuff that you can do inside of Speedgrade. What I'm going to do is not use the Lumetri color panel. Instead, I'm going to send this to Speedgrade. It won't be a comprehensive review of Speedgrade because I'm really talking about Premiere here. Obviously, you only get Speedgrade if you rent it. It's a separate program to rent. So if you're just renting Premiere, you won't have this. But I want to take this edit and I want to grade it in Speedgrade. So I'm going to save it, go File, and then this thing, Direct Link to Speedgrade. Click on that, and it says, do you want to save the changes and open it in Speedgrade? Oh, yes, please. That's why I chose it. It then takes you out of the project in Premiere, and it opens up Speedgrade and puts your timeline inside of it. So there you can see I've actually got the timeline here with all those different clips inside of it, ready for me to do Speedgrade-y things. Not intending to do a Speedgrade tutorial here. There's quite a few nice ones on the Adobe site. Obviously I can just come through and do a bit of grading down here. I've got lots of different primary and secondary color correctors and all sorts of filters and things that I can add onto it. Put a bleach bypass effect on it. And then once I'm happy with this, I'm going to say, right, send it back to Premiere. So having done that, I just click on Direct Link to Premiere Pro. It says, do you want to save the changes and open it in Premiere? Yep. Comes back into Premiere, and now you can see I've got my effect is on that one clip that I happen to do. If I click on it, you've got a Lumetri color effect on there with some stuff on it. This is the same Lumetri color effect that I was talking about earlier on, but it's added this one at the bottom, Custom. So I can't change what I've done in Speedgrade in Premiere. It's added another effect, another bit on the bottom, which is using the Speedgrade settings. I'd have to pop back into Speedgrade to change it. But that is a huge advance. If you actually want to use Speedgrade for grading, that's a huge advance over what used to happen in CS6. Because it just uses the clips. And there's some clips that Speedgrade won't load natively, but it will load if they come in through Premiere. But it allows me to get to Speedgrade and do Speedgrade-y things easily. Now when it comes to grading programs, I have to admit I prefer DaVinci Resolve. It's been around for ages, it's used in lots of feature films. There's also a free version, so you can quite happily use it with Premiere. I prefer Resolve to Speedgrade. But I always have a huge faff getting edits from my editing program into Resolve. It's always export XML files and faff around with clips and everything else. This is just so much nicer. Bong, send it to Speedgrade, do Speedgrade-y things, come back. Another thing I might like to do is just basically put a look over absolutely everything rather than just on a specific clip like this. And if I want to use Speedgrade to do that, first of all, you've got to do what's called add an adjustment layer. So I'm going to click on the new thing down here and say adjustment layer, throw it over the top of all my clips. Let's drag it out. So I now have got an adjustment layer. Now I'm going to send this lot to Speedgrade. Again, I could use direct link send to Speedgrade. Having done that, my adjustment layer turns up in Speedgrade, and then I can do things like add on the bleach bypass onto that, and I can add on a primary color corrector as well. Let me just fiddle with these sliders and do something with it. But because I'm putting on the adjustment layer, it actually affects all of the clips. In Speedgrade, that's basically called a grade layer. You put another layer on top, and then whatever goes onto that affects all the clips underneath it. But if you're using this dynamic link between Premiere and Speedgrade, you can't add in a grade layer once you're in Speedgrade. So that's why what you do in Premiere is you put an adjustment layer on, and then you can use that to stick your grade on it. Now of course I can send it back to Premiere, and it's put that on my adjustment layer, which I can turn off and turn on again. But it's another way of just getting a look that you create in Speedgrade and putting it over everything. Of course I've made it look hideous. I wasn't trying to do something good, I was just trying to show you how to use it. So that's really good. If you like using Speedgrade for grading, the direct link to Speedgrade.